Okay guys, Rebo PT back with another video. Today we're going to be talking about gait mechanics. When we think about gait mechanics, we think about hip flexion, knee flexion while you're running. This is something that we have a really hard time seeing with the naked eye. We can watch people run outside or run on the treadmill, but we like to break it down with a video analysis. So as we go through this process of just looking at the very basics of our gait analysis, we want to proceed with the understanding that we absolutely have to have full range of motion, hip, knee, and ankle to make any of these techniques that we're going to talk about really work. Here's a still of initial contact, peak knee flexion, push off, and flight. Here are their corresponding ranges of motion at the trunk, hip, knee, and ankle for initial contact here, peak knee flexion, and etc. When we look at a gait analysis, what we're really paying attention to is the energy absorption phases, specifically initial contact to peak knee flexion. We see a vast majority of musculoskeletal pain show up during these phases versus energy generation. This would definitely fall under the quad dominant or knee strategy, so we're thinking we're loading up the quad and patella a little bit more in this specific example of gait versus the hip and the glute max. As we look down here in some of these loading areas, we're seeing trunk clean is nice. We don't have necessarily gait normative values for running, but we do know that we want to, if this athlete is feeling some anterior knee pain or Achilles pain, if we can pull that knee and hip a little bit posterior, we can offload stress at the anterior knee and then down here at the posterior ankle. When we look at all of these measures and we think about what we need to do to correct some of these patterns, we want to go back to basics. Full hip range of motion, full knee range of motion, full ankle range of motion. Without that, we're going to really struggle to make movement patterning changes. Body is absolutely designed to have full range of motion, instant access whenever it needs it. And then back to right single limb stance, we can see that increased pelvic drop again. So these are just some really basic measures that we look at in gait. There's certainly much more fine detail that we can look at to tweeze out various injury risks, but we want to ensure that all folks are having full hip, knee, and ankle range of motion.